I like figuring out how far I can push myself. I think that allows you to really figure out what you're made of.
Alison Levine thrives in situations others typically consider impossible. In 2010, the former Wall Street whiz became one of the few to ever complete the Adventure Grand Slam. The feat includes climbing to the highest peak on every continent, as well as skiing to the North and South Pole, while pulling a sled.
There are definitely points where you think, I don't know how I'm gonna keep going. Especially in Antarctica, you're freezing every day.
Looks like nothing but white straight ahead. We've spent almost 4 weeks on the ice. It's been a really, really tough trip, and I think we're all looking forward to getting to the pole. Woohoo! I'm at the South Pole!
Keep in mind, Alison has had 3 heart surgeries and suffers from a neurological disease that puts her at risk for frostbite.
I actually didn't start climbing until I was 32 because I had to wait until I was healthy enough, but that's really when I started thinking about the fact that there was nothing stopping me from going out to do these things.
That spirit of adventure is what eventually led her 1,000,000 miles away to a remote part of Africa called the Rwenzori Mountains.
This is western Uganda, borders the Democratic Republic of Congo. These two countries have been at war on and off for decades.
In Uganda, Alison's eyes became open to a new reality. Local women were considered the property of men, with no freedom. The average life expectancy is 42.
When I went to the office of the Mountaineering Services, I naturally said, hey, can we have women guides and porters? And the guy looked at me like I was crazy.
In our culture, women are not supposed to come to the mountain.
Being told by our grandparents that women are not supposed to come this way.
I thought, this sounds like a pretty raw deal for these women. They have no way to earn money other than prostitution. And I thought, well, why can't they work in these mountains? Why can't we take the first group of women up into the Rwenzori Mountains and work with them so that they can work in these jobs and earn a sustainable living wage?
We have to struggle for life. There is no business which we can earn.
I thought these women are more than capable of climbing these mountains. I knew that they could just from looking at them walking down the streets carrying these massive loads of firewood and these heavy water jugs, and the fact that they were doing so much physical labor already.
The men were curious enough to allow Alison to eventually train the women, but superstition kept the men far away from the mountains during the climb.
We only had 7 women that were interested in going up the mountain. I think a lot of them were afraid just because it was taboo. They strapped the weight on and were able to climb the mountain just like the men were able to.
The Rwenzori Mountains stretch 70 miles long and 40 miles wide. The trek is a challenge, even for the most experienced climbers.
It rains most of the time in western Uganda. It's often maneuvering over ladders and big tree roots and trying not to fall into the mud pit. The mud gets really, really deep.
Every obstacle along the way was conquered with strength and determination.
When the women got back down from the mountain, there were people lined up all along the dirt roads waiting to congratulate them.
Things are changing.
There is no problem. A lady can come to the mountain.
And that's exactly what happened. Soon after, a local woman joined Alison on a climb up Mount Stanley, the tallest peak in the Rwenzoris. At 16,700 feet, it's just short of Kilimanjaro size.
Malabina getting to the summit really drove that home for women, that message about believing in yourself and not giving up.
Malabina, your first time! Yeah, let's go!
That mountain and that expedition really did change the lives of a lot of people. Every time I go back, there's a bigger group of women who are excited and enthusiastic to go climb the Rwenzori Mountains. It's not always about reaching the top of a mountain or getting to the North Pole or the South Pole. It's really about the journey and the lessons you learn along the way. Going to the Rwenzoris really showed me that climbing a mountain can have a positive effect on an entire community of people.